Recreate Project. Let's start with the Recreate Project and then go into Black Historical Faces. So what started the Recreate Project? What is the Recreate Project for people who don't know? Tell us more.
Yes, so the Recreate Project was born out of my own self-exploration and wanting to learn more about our history, wanting to learn more about Black history, wanting to elevate my Black consciousness and learn and gain knowledge of self. And so I started this journey in 2017. As I mentioned, it was with my own self-exploration, learning about Black history and learning about lineage and gaining and elevating my Black consciousness. And as I began to read books and watch videos and documentaries, I just became very inspired by what I was learning and felt that this should be shared more broadly, because I remember not learning half of the things that I know now, through the aspect of Black history. And it's like, okay, well, they didn't teach us this in school. We wasn't learning this in Black circles per se, even in church settings. And so I just felt that needed to change. And as I was going along in my journey, reading, doing more Black studies, and watching Black documentaries, I was watching, in particular, a James Baldwin documentary, I'm Not Your Negro. Mm-hmm. It was the name of the documentary. And I was learning more about James Baldwin at the time. And in the documentary, they brought up Lorraine Hansberry, which I was familiar with her work with A Raisin in the Sun. She wrote that play, Broadway winning play, and everything. And she was the youngest to present it on Broadway and the youngest to win an award for her playwriting. However, she was mentioned in this documentary. I was learning about James Baldwin, and it had occurred to me. It was like, wow, Lorraine Hansberry and James Baldwin, they ran in the same circles. And then you get to learn about someone else. Okay, Lorraine Hansberry also ran in the same circles as Nina Simone and all these great prolific people. But what captured me as I was watching this documentary, they showed this photo of Lorraine Hansberry, and she was just very cool, and I can't use the word I want to use, but I guess the word, she was just very stunning in that photo, very tough, and she had a lot of grit about her. Mm-hmm. And I just thought, well, wow, how strong of a photo this is. What if this photo was recreated with someone, modeling that same photo, posing just as she is, just to draw the attention of Lorraine Hansberry, but also I could write who she was. That picture is an eye catcher, but with that, I could write her biography with it. Therefore, people could learn more about who she was and her life and what that was all about. And so it just, that idea was conceived at that moment. And during that time in my life, 2017, I was into modeling and working with different photographers. So I just kind of called upon my photographer friends. I would hire them to kind of take these photo shoots of me posing as different Black historical women. And so that kind of began that self-exploration and that journey. And what I would do with the photos, I would post them on the blog that I created. The Recreate Project started off as a blog. So I would post those photos with the write-up on who the people, the historical figures were. And by 2018, I had several photos built up, to where I was inspired by that idea to create a calendar. So I published my first calendar in 2018, which launched for 2019. If you could keep up with the dates and the math on that. But from there, that blog began to grow into a high volume website. I get a lot of volume and visitors that go on the website. And the calendar has been an annual thing. This year, 2024 marks, will make 7 years once I create, work on that final calendar. So, yes.
Congratulations on those 7 years. So that goes into one of my follow-up questions about forgotten foundational Black Americans, and are the subjects in the pieces mainly those who you feel are like forgotten out of these stories, or are there some well-known faces in there, or is it a mix? What can people expect in that regard?
Absolutely. Thank you for that question. It's definitely unsung heroes, right? I definitely wanted to highlight the unsung heroes and the forgotten heroes, the trailblazers. And I do feature popular faces. Tupac was was my first. I did Tupac last year. I recreated the image of Tupac, and rest in peace. But yeah, so there are well-known faces included. So it's an array of different historical figures. But at the root, their stories really aren't being told enough, to be honest with you. And as we know, Black history is being erased. It's always been not well promoted the way that it should be, but it's also being erased through the banning of books. We know what's going down in Florida. You know, they don't want it being taught in high schools, or they put in all these stipulations for it to even be shared.
Yeah. And so I think that shows an important note for having like calendars like yours and having work like yours, is to ensure that these stories, as small or as big as they are, all deserve to be remembered, because we all deserve to be remembered. And so with that, I have a question, because you had said that you started the Recreate project, starting with yourself and taking pictures of yourself and recreating historical Black women. And so can you talk about your transition as in including new people when you start taking other people's photos, and maybe an experience or something that happened that really pushed the project differently forward, something that changed, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So as I mentioned, you know, I took on portraying these different phenomenal Black women for the first calendar shoot, and I hired on my photography friends to help me portray these iconic women. But it was more or less in the middle of things. I just realized this is way beyond me. There's so many phenomenal Black men, many countless Black men who have really paved the way in this movement, who have died in this struggle, you know, and speaking truth to power and doing all the things that they have done. So many Black inventors. Like I would be remiss to leave if I were not to include our Black male ancestors, our forefathers in this. So I just knew that this was beyond me and beyond what I could give. And so I just wanted to, I was inspired to engage other members in the community to help bring these ancestors, elders about and recreating their photos.
Gotcha. And so I'm curious to ask about maybe feedback you might have received from some people who are being portrayed, or some people who are the recreated photos. I know we're going to have a panel discussion. We're going to talk about that. But what was that kind of feedback like, taking photos and seeing them in this different light? And do you have anything that they might have said or, did, or, maybe just the feelings
Okay,
of,
so
oh, this
I
is
feel
like,
like I may have skipped over the latter part of your first question, and I think me addressing that will kind of ease into
yeah,
community members part of the
yeah.
answer. So I had to transition from being in front of the camera to being behind the camera. And I I trained myself. Basically, I haven't gained any formal education on photography. However, I just have a creative bone in me, and I just said, well, hey, one thing I've learned from my photography friends is lighting 101. That's photography 101. Lighting, gotta have the lighting right. And then other things just kind of came to me just out of, just seemed kind of like common sense. Okay, I gotta have a certain background for this, or okay, I'm recreating this photo, so I'm gonna need to be in this type of location or this type of venue. And because I recreated enough as I portrayed the different historical figures, so I just had to use that same logic when working with and inviting in community members to portray those historical figures. I have quite a few different memories in working with the members, different experiences. Um, one of one of the memories, and this is very near and dear. I don't want to make the mood somber, but this does involve a good friend of ours who is no longer with us, but he was a really powerful figure in this Greensboro local community by the name of Main Man. And day one, he had always been a great supporter of the work with Recreate. And so I just knew that I wanted them in the calendar. I kept inviting them to be a part of the calendar. He never turned it down, but we was just more or less brainstorming, okay, well, who can you be? Who can you be? Who can be? At one point, I wanted him to be a Tuskegee Airman, but I didn't have the budget for his costume or outfit. So I just kind of like kept playing around, and I landed on him being Bill Withers. Bill Withers is a musician who several hits. Lovely day, lovely day, lovely day, lovely day. You remember that tune, Nicole?
Yeah.
You heard of it, right? Maybe y'all sing a little bit.
No, I have heard that one.
Yeah, there you go. So Bill Withers, he had several banging hits, but that's really a popular one people can remember. And so I was like, okay, well, maybe it can be Bill Withers. Now at this time, he's Main Man and my husband were doing more of the communication. So if I needed to get a word to Main Man, I would just tell my husband, and my husband would just tell Main Man. And then on the opposite, Main Man's girlfriend, Tamika, or fiance, he would deliver his messages through his fiance to get to me. Somehow that's how we began communicating at some point in our lives. I don't know how that came to be. Long story short, as I was trying to gather up items for his wardrobe, I was in need of a black turtleneck, and for some reason during this like the 2020-2021 phase, it was hard to get a hold of just a regular black turtleneck, and so I was having trouble finding them, and I'd gone to several places, and so and I kind of needed it on the spot, based off his schedule and everything. I needed to have the shoot done abruptly and all that. And so the day of the shoot, I kind of told him, I was like, well, I was having trouble finding the right size turtleneck, you know, so I had to get like a women's size. And so he chuckled, and we figured what I could do is just maybe cut the neck out, but he would just need to bring like a black shirt to go underneath. I mean, we were just trying to
like senior college style.
Yeah, we were just trying to remix it.
Mm-hmm.
And so he meets me at the venue. I have the women's size turtleneck. Anyone that knows me, man, he's definitely not, you know, wasn't like a small framed man. He's like a big burly guy, built and everything. And so it was just so funny. So basically I thought he was gonna take what I gave him and cut the neck out, go to the restroom, cut the neck out. He comes out wearing the turtleneck, and it was hilarious. It was the funniest thing ever. Mm-hmm. And it went covered down his belly, so it was kind of like a half shirt. It was so funny. Mm-hmm. And that's the type of sense of humor he had. It was hilarious. Trust me, that was the funniest shoot ever. So that was definitely a you know, one of those memorable moments. I had several different memorable moments doing this, and most of the feedback that I received from the members, they're excited to be a part of the project. Like, they are genuinely excited to be a part of the project and help move our Black history and share it in whatever angle we need to share it. So they're just honored, they feel delighted, and I'm just grateful for that energy and those positive attitudes of encouragement. Yes.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And so next question is, what can you kind of explain a little bit more in detail the difference between the Recreate project and then Black Historical Faces? Tell us more about Black Historical Faces in relation to the Recreate project.
Yeah, so the Recreate project and Black Poetic Faces are one and the same. And what I mean by that is I utilize my portfolio from the Recreate project that I've been building. Many people, if you've ever brought a calendar from me, then you see these images in the calendar. So I just take those images that I've built through the Recreate project's portfolio, and I've expanded it into an exhibit. So you can see images of Malcolm X that I recreated using Jasmine Mallory, who's my husband. He portrayed Malcolm X, and through this exhibit, you're gonna see those faces, but you're also gonna have an opportunity to hear the voices of these historical figures. So the exhibit does come to life. I encourage you to bring your own earbuds, and that way you can tune in and learn something new about, you know, the
some people have been talking about how excited they're going to be for the exhibit. And then during the first Friday, we're going to have the opening, and then we're also going to have the one-man show. Do you think you can talk briefly about it, just to tell them about the one-man show? We're going to go through the events.
Absolutely, absolutely. So if you've never heard of Clement Mallory, I mean, you're gonna come on Friday night. You're gonna learn who Clement Mallory is as a poet, and he is just so phenomenal with his work. He's a veteran with the spoken word, and Black Poetic Faces is historical figures who he portrays their different characters in his one-man show, and it's a lot. It's a lot of changing of characters. It's entertaining. It's so many different things. It's deep information being shared through the poetry. It's gonna have you in deep thought, but it's very entertaining, engaging. Every character is enthralled in their own bit of poetry, so it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. You don't know who Jasmine Mallory is, or you never seen this one-man show, is out of this world. That's all I can tell you. You don't want to miss it.
We're so excited. We're so excited. I'm excited because I know I'll be there. Some of the other staff will be there, especially because it's supposed to be a really good turnout this Friday because it's HBCU First Friday where we're going to have some A&T folks. We're going to have some Greek life, some foods, a DJ. You know, I'm hoping that this whole overall experience just kicks off Black History Month just right. I'm so excited.
Yes. Yes, let's do Black History right. So we got to start it off right.
Exactly.
And Black Poetic Faces is the place you want to be. Trust.
Exactly. And so after Black Poetic Faces, the next day on Saturday, this Saturday, we have the Lady in the Mic. So tell us more about the Lady in the Mic.
Yes, absolutely. So the Lady in the Mic, that is an event that's curated by yours truly. So I also perform spoken word poetry, but this is going to be a combination of an open mic as well as an open forum about Black history. So it's going to be a little bit of a roller coaster of everything. So you're going to get the spoken word poetry. You're going to receive Black history. It's almost like a family affair in a way too. So it's a lot going to happen in that 2-hour frame. So the first 30 minutes you can come and explore the exhibit, and then between 6:30 and 7 o'clock, I'll be doing my thing, and as well as curating the open mic. We're also calling for artists, performing artists, rappers, singers, storytellers. You're all welcome to come and be a part of this, because the mic is going to be hot at 7 o'clock.
I'm so excited to bring these open mics back to the Atelier. Before my time, if you scroll further enough along in our socials, you will see we had open mics.
Can I mention this one thing, Nicole? I do apologize. I have to mention this. DJ Sugar Shack is going to be the DJ Saturday night. So, yeah, we're going to have some live music. It's going to be all the way.
Yeah. And so I know it's going to be a vibe in the Atelier because I always say when it's more than 2 or 3 people in the Atelier, it's when everybody starts coming in because it's just, we know how we make it fun and welcoming for everybody to enjoy their space. And now we talked about the opening night, the Lady in the Mic, encouraging anybody, storytellers, poets, everybody's welcome to participate. And then the panelist discussion. So we'll have the panelist discussion next week, next Friday. And my question about the panelist discussion, just to clarify for people who might not know, is the people who are the recreated folks, the people who are in the pictures, and are you going to be discussing their experience, or what exactly is going to happen at that panelist discussion?
Yeah, absolutely. You nailed it on the head. So the panel discussion is going to involve guest panelists who were the community members who participated as portraying these Black historical figures. And I will have like several different questions that are going to be thrown out, which basically they're going to share their experience with portraying these figures, and we're going to just walk down, their experience and explore with them what it was like for them to, portray these icons and trailblazers. Also, we will have a live performance by Ollie T. She's going to bless us and grace us with her beautiful voice. And so it's going to be an engaging evening, very informative, and all the words.
I think it's going to be a great night. And so that's next Friday. And so what is your overall hope for this exhibit? What is the impact that you want to land or the community to take away from the exhibit, walking in or taking away from it,
I just want people to be inspired by our history and learn more about our historical figures, our heroes, and they can do it. They will. I feel they're going to be inspired in a number of ways. I can't pinpoint what exactly is going to inspire a person, but I feel when they see these images and learn more about the hero or heroine, I think it's just going to take things to another level with them wanting to promote and share what they are learning. The more we share, the more we combat what's happening with our history at present, not being valued and being erased and being banned. Like, that's how we counter that negativity. That's how we counter it. Quote by Dr. Africa, he says that when you learn that Black history from a holistic standpoint, it makes you more spiritual, it makes you more intelligent, and it makes you more healthy. And I feel, that's a testament for me. I mean, it has increased my consciousness and made me more intellectual, and I feel more whole the more I continue to learn, It is very valuable, and I think we have to get out of this frame of just only valuing it during the month of February. It needs to be like an ongoing thing year round, and that's definitely something that I push. That's my mission.
Yeah, and that's also something that we to continue to push every year is at the African American Atelier, is reminding each other and reminding everyone that Black History Month, it does not only have to be 1 month. We choose for it to be this way, and so we try to make sure that we do something every month, because every month at the Atelier is Black History Month, which is fun.
Yes.
But yes. I mean, we want to make sure that we're showing the representation and using our space to amplify the voices like yourself that are trying to make sure that the next generation does not forget some of these really important folks, even when we can't always depend on outside forces like schools and things. We can always depend on the arts. We can depend on the arts. The arts have not failed us yet. And we in arts like yours, arts like folk art, arts like historical Black art, everything in between, it tells our stories continuously, and it makes it very hard to make us forgotten.
Absolutely.
So, yes. That's the other reason that I'm so excited about seeing the exhibit on Friday, is because when you really think about it, it's so many people who are often forgotten, who weren't like the biggest names, but they also had an impact. They also did things. They also really, there were other things that happened. And I think that the more we can normalize that the normal person also mattered, then the more we can also say as a whole, we can think about it like that,
Yes, absolutely.
But so I want to open up the room for anyone who would like to ask Jasmine any questions, or Jasmine, if you would like to have a topic that we can talk about as well, we can. But I'm going to open the floor up for anyone who has any questions and see what happens with that. And we'll decide if we're going to wrap up or not, depending on that, okay?
Okay, sounds good to me.
Great. Ooh, I actually have some more questions while we're waiting for people. You want to chit chat a little more?
Oh, sure. Yep. That's fine.
All right. So I would say one of the questions I have is, as an entrepreneur of many talents and many different things that you do, what challenges have you faced in building and growing the Recreate project, and what advice would you give to others looking to embark on similar creative journeys? And so that's more of a, we realize within our community, it is so difficult a lot of the times for our art to be our main focus. It is so, because of life, kids, daycare, all these things, it's so hard not to be, especially as Black women, it is so hard to not be the person who's juggling. But the question is, we already know that's part of, our culture and things that we have to do at this exact moment, which we hope will change in the future. But how do you continue? What were the challenges you faced with trying to balance normal life, everything else, and getting this project completed, or did you find it just as a, you started with yourself, so did you find it as like a hobby that was like, oh no, I make time for this. This is my fun thing. Or was it, oh no, this is just so important. This is my study. This is my informative thing. This is my educational thing. Where did that land for you?
Yeah. So for me, it's been both a passion and a labor of love. Just the art of it, photography, recreating these figures, the editing, that's all art, and art is me. And so it's been that passion there. The struggles have come along with sometimes I may lose inspiration, and need that inspiration again. It's like there's been times, I'll just use the past as an example of, I would find myself, not ready to jump back in it, but then somewhere along the way, it's like the ancestors got me into jumping back into it. They confirmed with me that it's not over yet. You got to keep it going. And so, but that didn't happen all the time. But there was a down time, maybe like 2 years ago during the pandemic, or as things were settling down with that, it was kind of like, okay, do I keep going on, or what way should I go? And trust me, with this going on being 7 years, it has nothing but the Almighty pushing me, and the ancestors, honoring the ancestors, is what has kept this thing going. And I'm proud to say that.
Yeah. I know you're in the gallery. My quick question is it possible for you to turn off your camera very quickly and ask Ashley to give you one of your calendars so we can show it on the live?
Sure. Yeah, let me do that now.
In a second.
Okay, let me figure it out.
So all you do is you push the camera button.
Yep, gotcha.
All right, see you.
You can still hear me though, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let me ask Ashley to grab the calendar so we can show it. All right, I'll be there.
Okay. So as Jasmine is grabbing that calendar, we want to thank y'all again for those who are able to stay and watch. Don't worry if you missed it, if you're coming in now, because we're going to save this on our social media platforms so that it can be watched year-round. And so you can learn more about the Recreate Project, get excited about it. We're going to be having all these posts about it throughout this next couple of days. As we talked about, the Greensboro Cultural Center is going to be epic this Friday. There's going to be a lot of people in there, we're hoping. We know that there are some, there's HBCU experience first Friday. So there are going to be HBCU representatives there. There are going to be students encouraged to come there, food, DJ, and all the galleries are going to be open. So I know there's going to be some live performances along with Clement being one of those main live performances happening in the African American Atelier, and along with all the other galleries having other live experiences in their spaces. And look, Jasmine's back. So let's see about that calendar. So at the opening reception, and also now they can start purchasing these calendars. This is one of Jasmine's calendars. She worked extremely hard on this Recreate project, just showing you just some of the fruits of her labor and her love of how this has really transformed into an entire calendar, as you see. That's amazing, Jasmine. And so these will be available at the gallery in our shop area. So feel free to come on by. You can already look at them if you want, because we already have them available. But we hope to see you on Friday so that you can meet Jasmine, you can meet Clement, we can have some more talking, we can discuss more, hear from these artists, and also enjoy this one-man show, because that's the thing that Jasmine now has hyped me up about. So Jasmine, I want to say thank you again for participating on this artist talk. Is there anything you would like to say to the community before we end?
Oh, absolutely, yes. Thank you so very much for having me. And I just want to encourage everyone to visit the website, www.recreate.inc. So that's listed there. And just check the website out. You can join the emailing list, and you can also subscribe to the website to keep up with the latest posts. The emailing list for the Recreate project, it's a little different. It'll keep you abreast of the latest posts that are posted, but it also shares other Black history, like outside of just people, but events and things that happened and took place that we should all be aware of. So it goes beyond just the website, as far as if you're subscribed to the emailing list. You can subscribe through the website as well to join the emailing list.
And if you have any questions about the upcoming events for Black Historical Faces, you can look at our website in our link tree. It also connects you to the Recreate Project's website as well. You can also read up on the bios about Jasmine Mallory. You can read on about the bio about Clement Mallory within our website, and just check it out. As well as that, we are still having our legacy memberships going on. So if you have any questions, please let us know about those. We also have that in our link tree. And we want to thank you for all participating, and excited for you to see y'all on Friday. It was nice talking to you, Jasmine. I hope you have a good rest of your night.
All right. Thank you. You too. Thank you for your time.
No problem.